Are you in a season where nothing makes sense and your heart just aches? Where everything feels confused and cruel, like the script flipped without warning, and you're left holding the pieces of a life you didn't plan? Jacob had already been through so much. He'd wrestled with angels, he'd run from Esau, he'd buried Rachel, and now he's handed a blood-soaked robe, a robe that belonged to his beloved son, Joseph, the dreamer, the child of his old age, the one he favored because he saw destiny in his eyes. And now they tell him Joseph is dead. No body, no witness, just fabric and blood. And Jacob breaks. He tears his clothes. He weeps without comfort. He says, I will go down to the grave mourning. In other words, this pain will not pass. This grief will outlive me. And maybe that's where we find you, crushed, inconsolable, drowning in sorrow, wondering where God is in all of this. If this grief speaks to your soul, would you help us speak to someone else's? Every comment, every word you drop is a hand reaching through the fog. Someone else is hurting too. And the message of God's comfort moves through your obedience. But here's what Jacob didn't know. Joseph was not dead. He was very much alive. The thing Jacob thought was lost forever was being prepared in silence, in Egypt, in obscurity. Joseph was walking into an assignment that would save not just his family, but the world. While Jacob wept, Joseph was rising. While one story seemed buried, another was just beginning. This is not to say the grief wasn't real. It was. The robe was gone, the blood was convincing, the pain undeniable. But the loss wasn't final, the plan wasn't canceled, it was hidden. And some of you are standing where Jacob stood. All you see is the robe. All you feel is what's been taken. All you hear is silence. And you're left saying, God, why? Why the betrayal? Why the delay? Why the unanswered prayers? But just because you don't see God moving doesn't mean He isn't. He is weaving redemption through the darkest threads of your pain. Because God's sovereignty doesn't mean we won't suffer. It means our suffering will never be meaningless. It means the pit, the prison, the silence, they are not wasted. What if your heartbreak is holding a harvest? What if your tears are watering the ground for a future you can't yet see? Because the God who let Joseph be sold was the same God who used Joseph to save nations. The same God who allowed the robe to be ripped was the same God who raised up Joseph to wear robes of royalty. So take heart. The robe may be gone, the tears may be falling, the silence may be deafening, but resurrection is coming. And the story you're weeping over, the one you swore had ended in tragedy, may be the very one God is using to write salvation into your family's future. Jacob didn't get an explanation. He didn't get a vision or a dream. He just had to live in the ache. But while he mourned, God was working. He was elevating Joseph. He was positioning Pharaoh. He was orchestrating famine. He was setting the stage for provision through pain. And I don't know what part of your story you've buried, but I know this. God does not abandon His promises in the valley. He fulfills them through it. So don't let the blood on the robe convince you the dream is over. It's not. Don't let the silence convince you that heaven has gone still. It hasn't. He's still writing, still redeeming, still weaving a future from the pieces you thought were beyond repair. So hold on. He's not finished. And when He reveals what He was doing all along, you'll realize the story that broke you was the story that saved you.